year when you first got hired, you talked about one of the bigger things you took away from him was just the preparation aspect of it. What do you feel like those that were kind of within that tree, yourself included, is a common denominator of what he was able to bring to the game of college basketball?
Yeah, I just knew that we had this press conference today, and probably wouldn't have called it today if it wasn't already planned. So honor the commitment. It's like you guys got a job to do. I got a job to do too. But yeah, not an easy last day or so. I think I was trying to kind of wrap my mind around it because Coach's health hadn't been great the last couple of years really. So I guess in a lot of ways, all of us that love him, myself included, kind of knew the day was coming, but it still didn't make it any easier. And I lost my own father. I lost my dad in June, and I'm not a guy that lives my life through press conferences or social media. So, that was personal. So some of you guys probably don't even know that, but I think the combination yesterday with Coach Knight, I think it just made me reflect on a lot of things. So, I think for me, it's accurate to say, besides my own father, nobody's had more impact on my life than Bob Knight. I mean, I met him in 2000, and so basically, almost half my adult life, I've been a Bob Knight guy, and I'm proud of that. I'm associated with the Knight family, and when I say Coach Knight, I really mean Pat as well. To me, it's Coach and Pat kind of go hand in hand with my experience with Coach and Pat, and but they took a chance on me as a junior college coach in 2000. Not only gave me that opportunity, but really just empowered me and gave me the confidence to know that I could coach at this level and win at this level, and so just Coach means the world. I'm very proud to be associated with Coach Knight, and Coach wouldn't want any of us to say the things that'll be said the next couple of days and weeks because he just wasn't a self-promoter, and I think that's the biggest thing. But I just think one of my responsibilities, really, for my own children, people that know Coach Knight, there's just so many sides of him that nobody knows about or they just don't talk about enough. Fiercely loyal. I mean, period. Like, if you were in his family or his team or his staff, or if you were his guy and he was your guy, he's as loyal a human being as ever lived, period. And so I'm talking about on the court, off the court. I'm talking about when things happen in life with your family and children. I mean, just always there. But see, he didn't live his life in a self-promoting way. He wasn't kind of today's social media. Let me do something nice and let me video it. Let me talk to my team before the game, make sure it gets out. And it just wasn't Coach. And so there's so many sides of him that most people don't know. But loyal, so giving. You talk about a family with Coach and Pat and Karen and everybody that did so many things for so many people. But he wasn't going to put his business out there. I personally saw him for 8 years. I was with him every day for 8 years, multiple times. We ate lunch. We hunted. I never played golf with him, so I'm not a golfer, but I went out there a few times and took him his clubs and things like that. We obviously basketball, and one of my daughters was born in Lubbock when Coach was with us. And so it's like, but he did so many things for so many people, charities, and the kind of just money he would give and time he would give. He would do anything for a cause, but he didn't want anybody to know that. He just wasn't a self-promoter. So always these sides of him. But I would argue he's one of the most giving human beings that's ever lived. Somebody was in need, he never said no. Also, he's an unbelievable sense of humor. And, because he didn't live his life in the social media world, most people don't know that. And I'm sure I'm not on social media, but I'm sure that the golf takes have been out in the last couple of days with the funny stuff from his TV shows and his speeches over the years. But that's just 1/100th of his humor. He's literally one of the funniest men I've ever known. Like, it's just kind of you always expected the unexpected going to the office every day, but just the fun that he had with the team and the players, and he just put just a really, for simply stated, just funny, man. Thinking about all these memories. Tonight, or today, and the impact that he had on my life. Obviously, like his commitment to academics, like this thing still is college basketball. Nobody really talks about that anymore with the name, image, and likeness, and the pressure for coaches and players to win, and the microscope of social media and all this. But I mean, it's college athletics. It's like it's still about college and getting guys degrees. And Coach had basically 100%. I think it's 98.9 when we were coaching. There was one player, but basically an unparalleled graduation rate over a 40-plus year career at 3 different institutions, Army, Indiana, and Texas Tech. I mean, simply stated, you play for Coach, you're going to graduate. And then that just changes lives and stuff. And so that's not talked about enough, his commitment to the college side of NCAA, basketball. The guy's graduated. So yeah, just so many good memories of Coach. I'm just so proud to be associated with Coach. And, Pat, too. Pat's a lot like his dad, and he doesn't ever self-promote. And he'll probably, I don't know if he'll see this, but, if he does, he'll probably be upset, don't put my business out there. But this is a story that somebody's going to figure out. I don't think there's ever been a more loyal son to a dad than Pat. And basically for the last X amount of years, just how he helped Karen and the family take care of Coach, the sacrifices that Pat made, and all the things that went into this. And I normally don't ramble at press conferences like this, but it's just on my heart. And I just think when I'm dead and gone one day, maybe my daughters will get a copy of this, and then they'll know very clearly how I felt about Coach. But like with Pat Knight, man, he's the best son I've ever seen. What he's done the last few years, and certainly with my battle with my dad, losing my dad, and my mom right now is in not great shape. And so, but that's a national story out there too. But the Knights don't self-promote. They don't put their business out there, and so a lot of the world doesn't understand what great men and great family this is. But I'm so proud to be associated with Coach Knight, and I hope in some way, he enjoys watching our teams play here at Ole Miss, and we'll honor him in every way we can.
What's his legacy in the game as a coach?
So many things. I think one thing is, he was all about basketball. He was a teacher of the game. And a lot of coaches say that, well, I'm a teacher, but they're really, a coach was a teacher, man. He taught the game, not only to his team, but to coaches. He was a coach's coach. He's one of the first guys that started doing the clinics. Almost some coaches, especially in today's world, like you think you got a secret and you don't want to tell anybody. Coach would share information with his rivals, with guys in his conference, in his league. I mean, Coach really was about the game of basketball. The game of basketball is a much better game because of Coach Knight, whether it be man-to-man defense or whether it be the motion offense. But I think one of his legacies, simply stated, he changed the game. Like, we all benefit from it. College, NBA players, high school players. Coach Knight, he changed basketball for the better. He's obviously a genius. You guys know that. He was ahead of his time, an innovator. I got a PhD in coaching. I was with him every day for 8 years in the film room, recruiting trips. I remember we took a trip one time from Lubbock to Dodge City, Kansas, and we drove, and Coach and I were in a car today for about 14 hours down and back, and I just remember it was a clinic. I got a PhD in coaching every day for 8 years. And again, when I say coach, I mean Pat too, because Pat's forgotten more about basketball than most of us will ever know. But I think one of his legacies is just what he did for the game. Second legacy, I think he has is just, he did it his way, and that was always his favorite thing. I remember the night he broke the record, I think won 900 games or 880, whatever it was at the time. He put the Sinatra song "My Way," and that's not bullshit. I mean, he really did. He didn't ever compromise what he believed was right. Was he perfect? No, but nobody is. Period. So this whole deal with like complicated life and this and that, I mean, everyone has a complicated life. No one's perfect. And so to me, Coach, so much more good than anything that could even be associated with complicated. But I think his legacy is he made the game better. Fiercely loyal to his teams, his towns, his cities. Like, he cared about Army basketball, period. And he didn't care much about anything other than that. And then it was Indiana, and then it was Texas Tech. I mean, he served and worked for that university and that school. And but no, his legacy is just so many things. And I tell you again, you line up all the great Americans and you put them on a sheet of paper of what they've done for people. Like, I was at Graceland a couple months ago. A big Elvis guy, I was intrigued by him, especially being here in Tupelo and all. And in Graceland, they got that great wall of basically all the checks that Elvis had wrote to all the different charities and stuff. It's an impressive room, right? And I don't think Elvis was a self-promoter either. Just one of his bankers had the backs of the checks and stuff. But the point is, Elvis Presley did a lot for a lot of people. Bob Knight did a lot for a lot of people. In my 8 years with him every day, in my 20 years of friendship, I never heard him say no one time to a charity or somebody in need, but he never wanted the credit. obviously he'd go the other way, be pissed off if you said something about it. He was the ultimate anonymous giver. And again, I put Pat right there in that same category. And Pat's the most unselfish human being I've ever met.
When was the last time you had a conversation with him? I know his health had declined pretty rapidly here the last few years.
Yeah, I think I speak for a lot of us. We just kind of stayed in touch with Coach and how he was doing through Pat, or I did. And I know a lot of people went through Karen, his wife, who was great to me and my family as well. Mrs. Knight, Karen, was really special to us and always treated my daughters great. I think my last kind of quality with Coach Knight, obviously working with him and with Pat, and then he followed me along the way. You know, like when I was in South Carolina or McMurray or Angelo, these spots where you kind of fall off the earth in coaching. You got all these friends that they're your great friend when you're playing on national television, but then you don't hear from them for years. But Coach wasn't one of those guys. He would always check on me, sometimes through Pat and things like that. And, you know, ultimately contributed, you know, really helped me get the Angelo State job, the Arkansas Little Rock job, the UNLV job, certainly coming back to Texas Tech. My last just firm, like, stories with him when Coach's health was still good was when we went back to Texas Tech to be the head coach, and we're building that team. And he was very supportive during our first season, which had a lot of ups and downs. And then we flipped it pretty quick there. We were in the Elite Eight. We were a top 10 team the second year, and he was supportive then. But it's always the mark of a true friend is somebody that's with you during the good times. That's easy, but also the times of struggle, and Coach was like that. But a lot of my interaction lately has just been through Pat. But I've always felt like I'm connected to Coach, because if you're connected to Pat, then you know what's going on with Coach.
Yes, back to y'all and Monday. I know you said after the game that the purpose of that was to expose some stuff to know what to work on. Looking at the film, what did you kind of see was exposed film to work on?
Yeah, I think we're like a team, like, still thinking about how Coach Knight would answer that question, but so I think we're a team like most teams, I'm sure, this time of year. Like, we have proven over practices and scrimmages and exhibition games that, you know, that we can do a lot of good things. We just haven't quite gotten to where you really trust that the consistency is going to be there time and time again. I thought the other night was very similar. We played some really good basketball at certain times, balanced scoring, took care of the ball after the first 4 minutes. I think it was a 12-turnover game. We had 4 or 5 in the first 4 minutes. So you take that out, we played 36 minutes of basketball with 5 or 6 turnovers. That's good. We defended for the most part. We had a couple of breakdowns late, but our effort was there. Our intensity was there. I didn't think we played the scoreboard. I thought we were playing just as hard with 6 minutes left in the game than we were at the start. So lots of positives. I think from the other side of the coin, it's just consistency. You know, like a lot of possessions, we'll have 4 guys doing the right thing and 1 guy will take a play off. And one guy taking a play off, it's not that he doesn't know what to do. It's not that he's not talented enough to do it. It's discipline. And so I think with our team, you know, there's a lot of optimism right now, but there's also a very clear reality that we just got to get a lot more discipline to have the kind of season we'd all like to have.
Is that typical for a first-year team, or typical for any team this time of year, that they're not as disciplined and consistent as you want them to be?
Yes, but I think, you know, I have such high expectations for these guys, our veterans included. You know, like Rashad and Gazzo and Austin, some of these guys, you know, you give them time. We're looking for effort and great attitude, and we're looking for them to get better every day. But I have a little bit of different expectation with Brake and Matt and Al and these guys. You know, I don't think we're quite where we need to be, just in terms of all out every single day, do the right thing, toughness, and respond. And when I say these things, I'm not calling anybody out individually, because it's a team sport. Like, for example, I think Matt Morrell, you know, more times than not does the right thing. He's a guy that I trust. I know he's going to put in the work. He plays the game the right way. But my message to Matt is it's a team sport. You know, if this was golf or tennis, you're good, man. But this isn't. It's a team sport. And you have to impact others. You know, you have to make other people better. You got to hold them accountable. And being a leader is not a popularity contest. I can assure you that. Coach Knight never cared anything about what anybody thought other than the people inside that locker room. So, you know, it's just things like that. So in some ways, I think we're okay, but in other ways, I just have such a high expectation for these guys, and I'm not sorry for that. I think it's the biggest gift a coach can give somebody is confidence and trust and belief. And another way to say that is, hey man, I have really high expectations for you.
I think 24 takeaways in that scrimmage. I know your teams have a long history of being really good at that. Do you feel like this particular team has the tools for that to be repeatable?
Yes, it'll come in different ways. You know, obviously with our rim protection with Musa and Sharp at the rim, that can create some challenges for the defense, and learning our perimeter players learning that those guys are there. It's a little bit different ball pressure if you got, you know, Joe behind you or you got Sharp behind you. I mean, I can pressure the ball a little bit more because I know I've got one of the best shot blockers in college basketball behind me. But yeah, I think our ability to learn how to kind of play with each other could, yes, result in a team that I think could force some turnovers and be a team that's very difficult to play against. And I saw a lot of that the other night, and you know, we'll see how with each step of the schedule, the competition's going to go up and up, and so it'll just be interesting on Monday. Can our defense manufacture some turnovers against what I think is going to be a really good opponent? You know, I'm never going to sit up here and oversell something to you. We respect everyone. 40-minute game, but I'm also going to be the first to tell you when I think the opponent's good. I think Alabama State's an NCAA tournament contender. They're a team that can win their conference. They're an older team. They don't rely on a lot of younger guys. This is the classic kind of portal Division I team where you look up and, man, it's a good team. You know, they've got older guys. They got 4 returners, which is unheard of in college basketball right now, and then they've added the right pieces that fit. They got a really good coach. You know, coach spent some time here at Ole Miss, and we'll welcome him back to Oxford and really appreciate what he did in his time in Oxford. And so this is going to be a challenging first game for us. It's not an ideal schedule from our point of view, but like I told the players, you know, you got to play good teams in the SEC. You're just getting a crack at a really good team on opening night.
Forgive me if I missed something. You mentioned Musa just in a different tense. Has you guys got news on him?
You would know that would be right after my respect for Coach Knight. So nothing new there. Just I don't know. College basketball starts on Monday, so I guess we kind of feel there might be some traction and all, but I don't have anything exact or factual. But I hope that something will be decided pretty soon. I know both guys are eager to get out there and help and contribute and play for Ole Miss.
Nunez got some decent minutes Monday. What do you see in him throughout this season as you're sorting roles still for guys?
Yeah, I think there's kind of 2 ways to look at Austin Nunez. You look at him on paper and say, hey, that was a guy that played on an NCAA tournament team in the Pac-12 last year, and so transfer. The other way you look at Austin Nunez is that's still just a really young player. You know, he played in 15 or 18 Division I games last year, and so I tend to do both. I think there's an opportunity for him to play because he is an experienced player. We recruited him to play, but I also remind myself and Austin constantly that, hey, man, run your own race. The reality of it is you're still a young guy kind of learning how to play at this level. Nobody misinterprets his talent. He's athletic. He can play. He's smart. And he's a tough kid. So he's going to be a good player. But, I don't think all the pressure of the world is on him here. But there's absolutely an expectation and a need for him to develop. He's had some adversity last couple of years. He missed 1 year of high school basketball because of a transfer, I think, from school to school, if I'm not mistaken. He got injured at Arizona State last year and missed the end of the season in the NCAA tournament. He missed a couple of days of practice this summer through an injury. Nobody's fault, just kind of part of the game. So he's still trying to kind of get his feet under him, but he's been practicing better. He earned the right to go into the game early the other night through his production and practice, and I would just tell you he's one to keep an eye on. And, I don't know when the opportunity will come, but it will come as long as he continues just doing the right thing and chipping away. I really like Austin. He's got a big heart. He cares. You think, well, doesn't everybody care? Yeah, I don't know. I've asked myself that my whole coaching career, but Austin Nunez cares. It's personal to him. He wants to be a good player. He wants to support the team. He doesn't want to let his teammates down. It's important to him. He's a basketball player. So I never bet against guys that love the game as much as he does. It's just a matter of time. I'm just encouraging him to run his own race.
Chris, I know you said you had really high expectations for Juju, and I know you said that there were some things that he did during the exhibition game that you would like to see happen differently. Have you seen him kind of respond in the last couple of days to just kind of looking back on it and moving forward? I know he's had to do that multiple times.
Yeah, that is one of the best things about Juju to this point. You know, I haven't coached him in games yet. We'll see, but he appears to be a guy that can respond, which is a huge characteristic, not only in basketball but in life. You know, you respond, have an answer, and Juju does that. So we coach Juju hard because we need him, and he knew that when he came here. The expectations and the plan were pretty clear. But that's one of the best things about Juju is you can have a grown man conversation with him. Doesn't seem to get caught up in his feelings and all that. He just, what do I got to do? You know, from a basketball standpoint, he's got to take care of the ball. We need to have a really good assist to turnover in his minutes. So that's important. And he's learning how to play this position. He's always been kind of a combo guard. He executed his role at St. Peter's really well. Elite Eight as a freshman, you know, spark plug, scoring off the bench. We have a different vision. We don't want to take anything away from him. He is one of our best shooters, period. I love it when he gets open looks. He's a talented, quick guy. But that point guard position, you know, taking care of the ball is very important. He's working on it every day. He had 5 assists and 0 turnovers this morning in practice, so he responded. Defensively, I'm just encouraging him, who are you? You know, you're not a 6'6" contained defender. You're a guy from the Bronx, man. He's going to tell you he's 6 foot. I think he's 5'10". But, you know, you're 5'10" from the Bronx. You're not 6'5" from Beverly Hills. I mean, let's get up into people. Let's be that street dog mentality that you are, and I know you are, and let's bring it out. So, you know, I believe in Austin. I believe in Juju, but it's no secret. This isn't giving the opponent a cheat sheet. Like, we need those two guys to play well. We need those two guys to contribute to Ole Miss basketball this year for us to have the season we need. And I'm confident they will. I like coaching those guys. I really do.
Anything else? All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Chris.